Today I messed up by inviting my crush to spend the night at my house. I'm currently visiting my parents who live in a relatively small town. The plan was to have a wholesome weekend with my family and eventually leave with brand new memories to cherish. I basically sabotaged that plan the moment I realized my high school crush, a girl I will reference as Sarah, lives 2 hours away. Back in school, she was always in relationships with other people, and I never got the chance to express my feelings. I've moved on from her for the most part, but as a 22-year-old guy, high school doesn't feel like ancient history yet, and those feelings I had for Sarah never really died. It just went into hibernation. Cut to me summoning the courage to call Sarah. Her phone number was still the same. When she answered, I first had to explain who I was. Not gonna lie, jogging her memory took some time, but I didn't take it personally. I was socially awkward in high school. She eventually remembered me when I mentioned an incident where I had to stand in front of the class during life sciences and demonstrate how to properly open a condom wrapper. It was a cringy thing to remember me for, but whatever. It was smooth sailing from that moment onwards. Towards the end of our call, I decided to throw it out there that if she happened to be close to town, then she's more than welcome to come and visit. Sarah revealed that she was in town that moment, visiting friends. Without wasting time, I invited Sarah for dinner so she could meet my parents and continue catching up with me. She accepted my invitation and came over last night. As soon as we locked eyes, I had to send my brain an urgent telepathic message telling it to calm down. We're not 17 anymore. Sarah was still drop-dead gorgeous, and not to mention a fantastic guest. My parents loved her and so did I. My dad, the accidental wingman, suggested that Sarah spend the night since none of us realized how late it was until it was too late. I passionately supported my old man's suggestion and invited Sarah to stay in the guest house with me. I made sure to emphasize that she could sleep in my bed while I crashed on the couch. Sarah was hesitant, but she eventually expressed her appreciation and decided to sleep over. I woke up on the couch at 2 a.m. to the sound of Sarah talking to someone in her bedroom. I think she underestimated how thin the walls were because I could hear every word. I heard no one else, so she obviously was on the phone. If I had to presume the context of their conversation, I would say the person on the phone was one of Sarah's friends who also went to school with her, because Sarah was describing me to this friend based on who I was in high school. It was clear that the friend was struggling to remember me, much like how Sarah was struggling when the two of us spoke on the phone earlier. Sarah found it funny and provided more and more details. To my surprise, Sarah remembered more about me than I thought. She referred to me as her high school stalker. I mean, what? I've never stalked anyone in my life. Sarah also mentioned an incident on Valentine's Day when someone in class was leaving random love letters on her desk with no name. Even though the culprit never came clean, Sarah told her friend on the phone that she always suspected it was me. Just for the record, I'm not the person who wrote those letters. However, according to Sarah's tell-all phone call, I was the guy in class who apparently made her feel like someone was watching her all the time. She made a joke about locking the bathroom door just in case, since I was a creep. If that wasn't traumatizing enough, I had to listen to Sarah gossip about my parents, my dad specifically. She had nothing but nice things to say about him. One might even say a little too nice. She made it clear to her friend that she found my dad attractive and would be more than willing to spend more time with him, if you know what I mean. Needless to say, I didn't get much sleep after that. This morning, I went for an early run while everyone was asleep. I left Sarah a note saying she can leave whenever she wants to, but I'm going to be gone for a while. Overall, though, I regret inviting her over, and I'll never do that again. This guy invited a girl over from school he barely knew, who he had a massive crush on, only to have her talk absolute garbage about her. That's a really terrible situation. The fact that she even agreed to sleep over at all, and let alone come over to his house, is very surprising to me. I wouldn't have done that, but she went ahead and did it. It's just a shame that she was so toxic about it. I mean, they invited her over and showed her some hospitality and allowed her a place to stay. The least you could do is be a gracious guest. Or, if anything, go out to your car to have that kind of conversation. Overall, at least this guy knows her true colors and he can stay away from here on out.
The full version of this story is on the Am I the Jerk YouTube channel, and there's a link to that down below in the description. And if there are any updates to this story, they'll be there in the same link. I'm sure by now a lot of you guys realize that a ton of these stories are actually submitted by you, the person listening. And there's no special requirement to submit a story. You yourself could submit a story right now if you wanted to. It can be completely anonymous. In fact, that's encouraged. And that way you can freely and openly share the most juicy secrets of your entire life if you want to. So how do you do it? Just go to AmITheJerk.com/submit. Make sure you read the rules before posting, but that's it. You just go to AmITheJerk.com/submit, read the rules, and post your story. Then you can check back on future videos to see if your story made it or not.